Hi, I'm Tracie Miles. Welcome to the Living Unbroken Divorce Recovery Program. If you're watching this video, then you are most likely going through a really hard time, regardless of if your divorce happened last month, last year, or last decade. I understand all too well the pain and the heartache that you have experienced and the worry and anxiety that is gripping your heart and mind right now. I've also been in your shoes, feeling awkward and anxious while sitting in a room full of strangers in a divorce recovery program, praying you can avoid having a public emotional meltdown and wondering if you can even make it through another day, much less a structured program. If you're doing this program at home, I also know what it feels like to be all alone, trying to figure out how to heal and move forward. And in any case, this situation is so hard. But there is one very important thing that I also know, and that is you can do this and you are going to be okay. You are going to get through this hard season and God is going to be with you every step of the way. Plus, you're in a room full of women who are going to soon become lifelong friends. And if you're not, you could consider also asking your local church to sponsor a study or look for one in your local area. But in any case, I want to invite you to join my Surviving Divorce group on Facebook, which you find easily in the search bar of Facebook. I would love to connect with you there, and it's a community of women who support and encourage each other that I know you will benefit from being a part of. I want to encourage you most of all that in time, you will be able to look back and not only see how far you've come, but maybe discover that you actually love your life again, even if it isn't the life you thought you would have. You will realize that peace and joy, which you thought was unattainable, is now yours. Although my marriage had been struggling for many years, I didn't know that my 25th wedding anniversary would be my last. Yet just a few short months later, after finding out about more indiscretions, lies, and patterns of addictions, my world as I knew it came crumbling down. As hard as it was, I knew that I had to make some changes in my life and that I couldn't continue to live in or enable such an unhealthy relationship and that it wasn't good for me, my children, my emotional well-being, or my sanity. But despite knowing this, I spent months buried and lost in the debris of my shattered life, depressed, sad, worried, ashamed, in denial of all that had happened, often angry, and always terrified of the future. But a year or so after separating, when I found myself struggling to get through another day without crying, I realized that somewhere along the way, I had not only lost myself, but had also lost my joy for living completely, despite all the blessings that still filled it up. I spent every day consumed with despair and worry. I stopped doing many of the things I loved, like playing tennis and shopping or hanging out with friends. I took a sabbatical on doing ministry as my heart tried to heal. And I had even stopped going to church to avoid the obligation of awkward small talk and putting on a fake smile. Happiness and laughter seemed to be a thing of the past. And as hard as I tried to keep putting on that plastic smile and hold it together for my children's sake, if nothing else, true joy in and love for the life I was living just seemed impossible to grasp. I've never been one to really keep a journal, but the day after my husband walked out of our home for the very last time, I was desperate for a safe place to just pour my thoughts and feelings out. Keeping them all inside could drive anyone crazy. And I needed an outlet, and thus my digital journal was birthed. Little did I know this journal would become one of the things that God used to heal my heart and become the looking glass for me to visibly see His work in my heart and my life over time. 6 months after my husband left, I journaled this entry. I spent an hour in prayer this morning after waking up crying again. Feeling so overwhelmed with sadness and grief that I couldn't get a grip on my emotions. I just wish my life were different. It's not what I wanted it to be for me or my children. I wish my family wasn't broken. I wish I could make everything better, but I just can't change or fix anything. I can't make my husband love me. I can't heal my children's hearts. I can't ignore all the problems that cause me angst and worry. And I'm tired. I'm tired of the stress and the emotional drain of this unfamiliar life. Tired of the heartache and pain. Tired of the fear. I'm just tired of dealing with life. Physically, emotionally, and mentally tired. I put on a good face for the kids when they're home, and I try to be strong around others, but I feel like I'm losing who I am. Lord, I don't want to be broken anymore. I want to be whole again. I want to feel whole and complete, even if my marriage is over. Even though my heart is broken, I don't want to be a broken woman. I don't want to be a broken soul. I don't want to feel broken anymore. I want to enjoy life again. Fill me with joy and peace and rest in you. I'm tired, Lord. Give me strength. Restore to me the joy of my salvation. The ache in my soul is so deep. Please lessen the ache. I don't understand why this has all happened and how it's all going to turn out. But I want to love my life again, right now, Lord, no matter what it looks like. Help me love life again, even when life is hard. Amen. You see, every ounce of my being longed to love my life and feel happy again, even though my marriage was over. But I just wasn't sure how to make that happen. And maybe you can relate to that feeling as you're watching this today. I was so tired of living every day with a broken heart, a broken mind, and a broken spirit, but I simply didn't know how to change. Yet over time, as I continued to journal and lean into God, He helped equip me to get through each day victoriously and understand that I had to choose to be happy in the life I had because it was the only one I was going to get. I finally realized, despite my problems, my circumstances, or what my ex had done or wasn't doing, that my happiness was up to me and me alone, and I had the power within me to take control. That journal entry marked the day when I finally stopped letting life's circumstances dictate my love for life or allow someone else and their decisions to control my joy and stall my future. I had begged God for months to change my current circumstances and prayed for years for Him to prevent that circumstance from ever even becoming a reality. But when I reached the point where all I wanted was for Him to change me and increase my faith so that I could love my life again regardless of what it looked like, that is when my life began going in a completely different direction. My happiness began to blossom as my sadness withered. And I started realizing that I would be okay and life would be okay. I just had to keep persevering, trusting God and holding His hand along the way while allowing Him to hold the reins of my life. I hope today will be that mile marker for you. The day you realize that you too are tired of letting heartache, disappointments, and regrets weigh you down and keep you from living life to the fullest. The day a spark was lit in your heart, giving you a passion to find peace and happiness again, as well as confidence in yourself and your future despite your circumstances. Let this be the day you start seeing the future as an exciting adventure ahead and not something to be afraid of. Much like me, you might be starting to realize it's time for you too to make the decision to intentionally choose to love your life no matter what and embrace this difficult season you're in with a fresh, new perspective. Maybe that's why you're here today. From this point forward, I pray that you will put your full trust in God and believe He has great plans for you, and they are good. Hopefully knowing this will help, as well as you are no longer on this journey alone. We're in this thing together now. And over the next 7 weeks, every step that you take towards overcoming the pain of divorce, rediscovering who you are, and loving your life again will be a faith-fueled step in the right direction. We cannot change the past, other people, or change our circumstances. but we do have the power to change ourselves and our tomorrow. In the meantime, I want you to hold tight to these 2 verses from the book of Psalms. They have brought me comfort and hope over the past several years, and I hope that they will for you too. The first is Psalm 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. He rescues those whose spirits are crushed. And the next one is Psalm 147:3. He heals the brokenhearted and bandages their wounds. These verses are for you and for me. They give us hope that God knows our hearts are broken and that we are suffering, yet He is right by our side. He knows life has dealt us a hard blow. He knows the deep pain of our invisible wounds that only He can see. But He is capable of not only knowing, but holding and healing our hearts, which promises us that better and happier times are ahead. View this program as God's way of being close to you, tending to your crushed spirit, holding your broken heart tight as He works to heal it completely. Through your personal reflection time as you work through the workbook, your quiet time with God, the group discussions with new friends where you can be open and honest, or even just the connections you may make in the Surviving Divorce Facebook group where new friends are often found, I hope that you will view this course as God's way of helping your heart become whole again. Friend, today is a great day. It is the day that you have made a major step towards reclaiming your heart and your life.